This is Road to the Golden Door, where we unpack the proven success formula straight from the minds of Golden Door winners, uncovering the motivation, methods, and the mindset it takes to become an elite performer in door-to-door sales and in life. This is Road to the Golden Door. Now, here's your host, Mikey Lucas.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back. Road to the Golden Door. Got a young star on the show here. He's a 23-year-old, two-time Golden Door Award winner. So he's already installed $5.5 million in roofs in the last 24 months. This kid is an absolute stud. I've been working with him actually for the last almost year and a half now, going on year two now. He's a sales manager out of Nashville, working at Perimeter Roofing. Top rep, just got the top rep award for the company. Good job, brother. Appreciate that. And 5 years in door-to-door sales. Started in roofing, had an episode, if you will, as a lot of people do, in solar, and then came back to roofing and has hit Golden Door since. So, Evan Carver, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. So for everyone that doesn't know, I know that you've spoken on stages in the last few years because of your awards. So I think that's awesome. But a lot of people that follow the show don't know who Evan Carver is. So who is Evan Carver?
For me, man, I got really lucky, and when I found door to door, my brother got me into the industry. I just immediately wanted to be a sponge and grow and learn, and I've just embodied this industry with wanting to just become the best version of myself day in day. And I've accomplished some really cool things, like even you saying I've spoken on stage. It's like still kind of crazy to me. And I don't know, I just want to get better. And that's the main thing that I've been doing for the last half decade since I've gotten to the industry. And I'm forever grateful for getting into an industry where, up leveling your, human, everything's, potential is like the thing to do.
Tell me about your, because obviously we've been working together very closely over the last year now. So I know a lot about who you are and what motivates you. Let's start there. I want to get down to some of the things that actually motivate you. Let's start with who's your hero.
Yeah, it's my mother. I saw my mother bust her tail for over a decade when all three of my brothers were we were all in middle school and high school at the same time, and she had an award-winning business, an appraisal business, and she was a bus driver, and she worked 14 to 16 hours a day every single day for 12 years while we were all three in school, sports, etc. I saw her get up at 5, 6 a.m. to go do her first bus routes, and she was doing paperwork, at 10 p.m. every single day on her computer for her appraisal business. And Ed Milet's got a thing where your parents don't necessarily have to teach you everything. You catch what they do. It's caught, not taught. And she, unbeknownst, showed us the way to have an incredibly hard work ethic. And my father as well, he's got an incredibly hard work ethic. But my mom was the one that just instilled greatness in us. And she's absolutely my hero for sure.
She's instilled greatness in you. Let's talk through that, because I know a lot about your story, how, I'm not going to say it's rags to riches, but it is rags to riches. There, everybody's story, everybody has a rags to riches, right? I'm not saying, because I can, if we sat here and compared like, oh, well, the person that came from XYZ country and they had, dirt floors, like, dude, mad respect for the dudes that do that. But your upbringing, obviously, you had parents that were hard workers and that instilled in you greatness, like you said. So just kind of describe to that. What does that really mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's, sorry. I'm spacing, sorry. Oh, fuck.
So like, what were some of the attributes you saw in your mom, right? Obviously hard worker. Mm-hmm. So what were some of the things that you saw her do that motivated you to keep going? Or was it in your brothers, right? Like, what were some of the things that they were doing that you were like, I'm gonna get after it and hit Golden Door 2 years in a row?
Yeah, so we grew up like in a wonderful family, like, silver spoon, nice little house, white picket fence on 10 acres. We had horses, goats, everything. Like it was a wonderful childhood. But seeing them work so hard and be frugal and save and create that little, home oasis and that wonderful life was amazing. But also seeing them bust their tail was just so pivotal for us. And like it's crazy because like you say, like rags to riches. And what's wild is my first year, 5 years ago in the roofing industry, I made more money than my mom ever made in her best years ever. Her best years ever, she didn't break six figures, but she made like 92 grand in her best year ever. And like seeing her work 18 hours a day was crazy to me because, I get my 1099 that first year from Perimeter Roofing, and it's like 115 grand. And I tell her that, and she's like, wow, Evan, like you've made more money than me ever. And I'm an 18-year-old. And it's just crazy to me that being in the vehicle of sales and door to door was able to shatter even what my mom, her best year ever in business. And like, I really feel like I was just goofing off. I only worked really full time for like 8 months. And it's crazy how much money you can make in sales, and what a blessing that I was able to get into this industry.
I love that. So tell me about, I guess, what did you do? What did you do in high school? What were some extracurricular activities you were doing in high school?
Smoke weed and play video games. I had like not a lot of direction. Like I didn't really like have any sense of, hey, I know this is what I'm gonna do when I get old and have this dream job. Like, you know, yes, my mom's my hero, but I also have to give an absolutely, incredible shout out to my big brother, because my big brother was able to pave the way for me while I was in high school. He's 3 or 4 years older than me. He graduated, he went to college, he dropped out, he worked this crappy job, that crappy job, and then he worked at 2 or 3 roofing companies before he came into a better roofing company, that the one we still work at today, Perimeter Roofing, and was able to grind it out, work his way up the ladder, and then within, his like, let's say sophomore year in roofing, he had an incredible summer, and that was the year I actually graduated high school. He installed 20, 30 roofs in one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in Northeast Georgia, and seeing that, and I was like, holy crap, like my brother's making a bunch of money, he's doing it big time, and if he can do it, I can do it. And what he did so selflessly for me when I graduated high school, a couple months later, he bought me a brand new 4Runner, put a ladder in the back of it, bought me brand new Cougar paws, decked me out with all the roofing equipment, and he gave that to me and said, if you don't go and make $100,000 this year, you're a bitch. And like that selflessness, but also that tough love at the same time was just so beautifully orchestrated by him. And like he said, I made six figures my first year in door-to-door sales roofing. If you don't do it, like you have no excuses. I'm giving you everything to do it. If you don't do it, it's up. It's literally the ball's in your court. Like there's no way you can fail unless you let yourself down. And Jay Carver, my big brother, did absolutely everything to pave the way for my successes. And it's really cool what we're doing, and being able to, buy back our times, and essentially being able to buy back our mother's times too, because she's still working now, and it pisses me off every single day. And that's why I'm going so hard, because I want to be able to retire her in the next 24 months. And we're getting very, very close to doing that.
You are. That's exciting. I love that. Seems like you're motivated to help your mom out. That's pretty awesome, dude. Yeah, it's I know there's one thing that I know about you is you take pride in what you do. And it's very hard to find. I would say it's not hard to find, but it's rare rather to find 23-year-olds that care about what they do and like their actions and are even aware. Most of them are not even aware, right?
Yeah.
You have goals, you've got clarity, you have direction, you've got motivation, you've got inspiration. Like you know what you want. And right now, a lot of it is to fix what needs to be fixed is, and I wrote this down, I said that you're money motivated. But what is cool about you is that you're working on your person, right? Personal development, self-development, because for you, when you get there, right, you've already got the Golden Door twice. It's likely you're going to get it again this year and again the next year. And I was telling you on a call the other day that I think you're going to go I think you're going to 5-peat, and there's even a chance you're going to 7-peat and tie up with Brady. That's my understanding of the type of person that you are. I could I mean, I would bet that Evan Carver is going to hit a 7P.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because you're a deep thinker. And I don't think we see that a lot. It's a rarity that you see that a lot in the younger than 25, the 20 to 25. I would say 18 to 25. Really 20 to 25, because at 18 you're like, you're still kind of thinking the world is yours, and then at 20 you're like, oh crap, I actually have to go to work and do something. What do I do? But no, that's I think dude, it's fun to watch your journey, and to be able to be able to say, like, I was a part of that dude's journey, and it's cool because you got a really good heart, man. So I love that. So let's go back to the Golden Door year. This just one you just came off of. What was it like when you got the Golden Door award on stage this year? What emotions did you feel in January?
It was awesome. So it was like a full circle moment for me. Briefly, I'll go back 5 years ago. When I got into the industry, within 2 or 3 months, I only had $400 in my bank account, but I wanted to be successful and I knew that I could like pay other people for their knowledge. I signed up for Sam Taggart's simple $1,000 roofing course, and it completely changed my life because at most roofing companies, they teach you how to roof. They don't really teach you how to sell. And I needed to learn how to sell, psychology, body language, tonality, all the sales tactics, all that kind of stuff. And the mindset behind it to get to, where I'm at actually on stage back-to-back years getting the award. But when I got the award this year, I was very, very happy and proud of myself. And it was cool. It was full circle because not only did I get the award, but I actually got to speak on the roofing panel. And that's why it was full circle. Because when I started 5 years ago, I was like, I want to be great at this. And, loop back to this year, I'm speaking on stage with other business owners and top reps in the industry. There's 80, 90, 100 people in the crowd. And it's super cool to be able to provide value to them. Getting the award itself is cool, but those emotions, they flee very quickly. It's like, holy crap, I got to do it again. I got to go back to work. I got to hop back on the plane to go back and, get back in the saddle and gear up for another great year. I think it's totally worth it, but sometimes the feeling you think you may get on stage isn't really the feeling that, you're looking for in a sense. It's just like that checkbox of, hey, I did it. I get the award. It's cool. You can ring on the little doorbell or whatever, the little knock piece. But it's just like, hey, I did something incredibly hard this year, and pat yourself on the back for that.
Love it. Why? I think the question that I get kind of asked a lot, or even sometimes I even ask myself is well, why did you have to hit the Golden Door the second year?
Mm-hmm. I think that's where the bar is set, and I'll be damned if I'm going to lower the bar. That's not what we're here to do. We are here to continue to grow. My first year was kind of like my selfish year of hitting it in 2023. I just had to go do that for myself, but now it's like I have to do it to show my team what's possible. And in 2025, the third year, I cannot be the only one on stage. My goal is I have to have, a minimum of at least one of my other representatives at my company next to me, because it's cool to be able to do it by myself, but I have not, developed another Golden Door winner under my belt. And that is, I feel like, the true testament of a good leader and a great leader is if they can also bring them to, the glory land and achieve the goals that they've achieved. And in all honesty, I think I could probably have at least 2 or 3 people next to me in my direct office doing 2.5. So it's super exciting. And 2025 is more of a leadership growth year. I've had the, selfish years, but now it's like I need to be able to give back and continue doing it because that's where the bar is set.
Love that. Yeah, that's you're definitely right there. If you can hit a Golden Door, that's one thing. If you can hit a Golden Door and help others hit Golden Doors, that's another thing. Mm-hmm. It's the John C. Maxwell Leadership 101, right? So I love this. I love this. So tell me a little bit about, so I guess let's talk about how you read the book Buy Back Your Time. Okay, so let's talk about, okay, it's easy for you to hit 2 3 years in a row. Okay, but now you're saying, hey, I want to add and make sure that some of my team, my people are there with me. What are some
Hmm.
things that wouldn't work in your first year or your second year that in your third year now, how year three Golden Door Award for Evan, you're going to have 2 3 people with you. What are some of the things that are not going to work, and what's your plan of attack?
Um, I think first and foremost is just simply, investing into yourself is so important. I've invested quite literally six figures on coaches, mentorship programs, courses, and actual experiences and trips. And like, you're actually my coach. I'm in your coaching program, and having you in my corner is so pivotal. And I think everybody that wants to be a top leader and top producer is going to need, a coach and a mentor to like help them just navigate the waters that they've never been into, because I've never done that before. And being able to talk to you and talk to higher ups and people in the industry is key, and especially paying for it, because you got to put that skin in the game. But like, how to actually do it is, last year I ran an office about 10, 11, 12 people, but it's pretty easy somewhat to manage 10 people, but now we've recruited an extra 8 people this year already as of January. And I can see myself slowly running into a brick wall of, this is not going to work the way that I've been running things. And I've ran it pretty archaic, where like I take a guy in my truck and we ride out and we go out and knock doors, or, it's a slower process that way. There's no automation, there's no systems, there's no playbooks. And the only reason why I've ever even read that book, Dan Martell's Buy Your Time Back, is because of you. And, I'm very, very, very grateful for you, because you've given me so many insightful tactics, books, things to do, that have really helped me move the needle in my, business, yes, but also just in my personal life and my mental clarity and my sanity. Um, so this year is, as of January, I kind of ran it continually how I have over the last 2 or 3 years, and I can just see it not working in a sense because of the lack of systems and operations. So I'm going to take a step back over the next 20 to 30 days to dial in the systems, to work on some of the AI and universities and programs and automations. And then I'll be able to take a step back in, let's say March 1st, 9 months, grind it out, get another golden door, make sure I've got 2 or 3 people next to me on stage. It's not rocket science. I'm going to do it.
I love that. Yeah. So it sounds like there's that I don't know if it's Abraham Lincoln, but there's that quote. Tony Robbins says it a lot too. Um, he's like, there's a story, and I'll just paraphrase it really quickly but it's important. There's a story of two lumberjacks. Okay, they go out, they're cutting wood right in the forest in Oregon. Okay, and one of them works the entire day, and the other one works only seven. He works for 5 hours, takes a break for an hour, comes back and works the last of the 2 hours, or for his 8 hour shift. And the guy that goes home for an hour on a break ends up cutting more wood than the guy that works straight for 8 hours. And the moral of the story is, the guy, he goes up to him, asks him like, "Hey man, like, how is it that you're working only 7 hours, I'm working 8 hours, and you cut more wood than me?" He's like, "Oh, I go home and I sharpen my axe." And
Mm.
it's so interesting how we want to. I get it. I understand it. I lived it for a long time. How you want to be in Game 7 with the bases loaded and 2 outs and you're down by one, right? Like, everyone wants to be in that. We like over sensationalize, being in the spotlight. And like, don't get me wrong, the spotlight's fun, and I'd love to talk to you about the spotlight on you, because you have one. And the spotlight's awesome, but at the same time, like, you get to the spotlight and you stay in the spotlight, or you stay on that level when you're doing and you're sharpening the axe. You're going through personal development. You're investing in yourself. And I love that you're spending six figures a year investing in yourself. And I hope that you continue to do that, because it's not for my benefit, but for your benefit and the people below you. not, or besides you, I should say rather, right? Your team, it's John C. Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. You can only, if you're a 3, you can only lead a 2. If you can get to a 4, you can lead other 3s. And the goal is to continue, right, to drive your personal development up so that, number one, you can live in a grateful and playful state and be, happy, if you will, rather than being cynical and down and negative and, just thinking about limitations of what you don't have. Like, we have so much, there's so much to be grateful for in life. And the hard part is that because somebody doesn't have what they want, the end goal, right, the destination, then they just live like crap all the way through it. And it's like, no, I personally, I would rather live grateful the entire time. I do want to get to the destination. Don't get me wrong. The journey is hard, very, very hard. It's a lot of work, right? And the cool part is, at least within door-to-door sales or within sales in general, whether they sell, life insurance or real estate, whatever, you write your own paycheck. A worker is deserving of his wages. And the person that's actually working deserves the wages that they're making. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I'm a capitalist at its finest, right? But also a capitalist that is a philanthropist that actually cares and says, I'm going to go back and help other people. And like Harriet Truman going back and helping and getting more people out. Like that's my end up. One of my end missions is to help people get out of the damned destruction, guilt, shame, condemnation lifestyle and moving into freedom. And when you can walk in your quote unquote ultimate destiny, or walk in your passion, walk in your dreams, it just you don't get mad about certain little things like traffic or people trying to cut you off on the end of a freeway or whatever. Like, it's so interesting how you can live in such a grateful mindset and you end up helping other people. And I think that most people are chasing success or chasing money. But the ones that are successful 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years are the ones that are chasing impact. And I know that sounds like a stupid little bumper sticker, but dude, when you add more value to the marketplace, your paycheck, whether it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it might take you 30 years from now, will be significantly better with humans than it will be in whatever you can buy. And that is from interviewing, talking to, being coached and mentored just like you by people that are very, very successful. And don't get me wrong, the cool cars, the trucks, right? Like, you got a new truck recently again, Evan. And, but those things are great. But at the end of the day, like you said, one of your biggest motivations is that you're not going on stage alone this year. And I love that about you. I'm like, yes, we need to hit that. So when it comes to a lot of the things that you and I'll kind of give an insight to the people that are listening of what we go through. Some of the things that we've been working on is we got you an assistant, right? You're hiring another assistant now. And the first thing you said you gave her was that book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Great idea. It's great strategy. So if you are listening to this and you're like, yo, I need to hit a golden door. I need to offload some of the work, right? Some of those things are going to be, what are you doing on a daily basis, right? And what are and how much technically or would that value of answering emails, that would be something that's like maybe $15, $20 an hour. Knocking on doors, that's probably $500 to $1,000 an hour. Sitting in presentations, $2,000 an hour or whatever it is, right? Like, and then just offload all those things on the bottom, like, your food, like buy meal prep maybe, right? It's so funny.
Yep.
Oh my God, dude. I don't want to get there because this is serious, but there's a meme that I have to send to you. Please remind me. It's this kid on the internet that like makes fun of people that are like just doing anything. He did one for Andy Elliott the other day. It was absolutely hilarious. Andy Elliott, I think, is a really nice guy. I've met him and spoke on stage with him a few times. I don't have any issues with Andy. He's a little hard pressure on the sales side, yes, but more power to him. The guy's trying at the very least. So Evan, you're buying back your time. You're getting assistants. You're building out systems processes. You're going to spend the next 30 days, it seems like, on building out systems for this year for you to go hit it. Because last year you worked 9 months and hit your golden door. Like, I know for sure not that you didn't work, but like actually out there prospecting. Yeah. You didn't work in November and December, right? You hit golden door, I think, early November. And did you work in January? Because you had a door-to-door conference in January. So did you also not work in January that year, last year?
No, I definitely had a really good January of 2024. And once I hit the golden door in early November, that was when I took, a massive foot off the gas, brake pedals. I'm getting ramped back up for this year right now.
Well, bro, thank God you had a worthy opponent, because in November and December you had a worthy opponent that you had to slay some dragons, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There were some
Most
hurdles there
definitely.
there were some hurdles there that you really needed to get through, and thank God we got through those, because now you're off to the races, and I'm very excited about that. But dude, Evan, so many people go through that. I don't want to get into the super details about it, unless you care to, but I don't think we should, personally. But can you tell me some of the breakthroughs that you had, or some of the limiting beliefs? Let's go there. What were some of the limiting beliefs you had in November, December, and let's go through some of that, because I think this is important, bro. This is huge.
Yeah, I don't want to go super deep into it, but I think a good way to kind of paraphrase it is I kind of thought it was all about me. And it's not really all about me. It's about my legacy. It's about my kids. It's about their kids. It's about taking care of my mom, making sure my niece and nephew are taken care of, making sure my reps and their kids are taken care of, and being able to, quote unquote, if I don't get the recognition or significance from my company or my people or whatever, again, it's not about me. I can actually create that type of significance and create that type of, you know,
Recognition.
yeah, like recognition, within my own self, and my own day to day, and being able to honestly be a little bit more selfless about it. You know, it's almost like instantaneously God, the world, the universe, within 20 to 30 days, the stuff I was very, very angry and unhappy about, the significance, the communication, all that stuff, all the stars aligned. And, as I'm sitting here a month later, it's like all those issues that were there a month ago were just kind of like self-sabotaging thoughts. And being able to speak to you about it, I had a one-on-one call with you, for like 2 hours, like a day after Christmas. And I was just like, running rampant through my thoughts in my mind that just like weren't even existent. And the main thing was like, dude, it's not about you. I'm sorry, but, stop your little pity party. And, you've done wonderful things. Pat yourself on the back for that. Who gives a damn if you're getting quote unquote recognition? You can actually create those for your own self, which is actually, it's so cool to be able to do that for yourself. And I'm very grateful for having tough scenarios and obstacles that come up, because, it's, like sales is a lot like sports. When you're growing up, you learn a lot of things that coincide with, you losing a basketball game as a 10-year-old. Same thing in sales. There's so many day-to-day things that come up that it's like, you've got two options. You've got the path of least resistance, and you've got the path you need to go down. And that's a belief system that I've really embodied this year. And it's really helping my leadership take a massive step forward. Is I can choose the wah, cry, 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 be a little bitch path, or I can choose the path I need to go down it, which is making sure that, the Carver legacy is going to be okay, and my niece and nephew are going to be okay. And I'll be able to retire my mother in 2 years, and I'll be able to give back and, impact the world in a wonderful way. Or I can be, a little baby back bitch about it, but I'm not going to do that. And you got to have those, things come up in your life. And it's almost like literally the day of, or the week of my 5th year in the industry, that kind of issue came up. So I'm just grateful for those obstacles that do come up.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that was a very good paraphrase. I really liked how you worded that. I appreciate your honesty, because it's often that we see that people bury that, and then Evan, like, dude, if we didn't get through that in December, like your life would be completely different right now.
Correct.
Like, it would be going in a completely different direction. And here's the hard part: is you would be holding on to something that is literally fake. It's not even there.
Correct.
And that is why it is so important to have what I call blind spot detectors in your life. People that sit in your corner, that might be your mom, might be your dad, might be your brother, might be your sister, or might be other people, right? Your circle, your inner circle of dudes that are not going to yes man you, and they're going to tell you the truth. And it's a gut punch, bro. A lot of times, I've been gut punched by super, talented men that are like know how to do it, and I've been gut punched by people that are a little more aggressive and don't have as much experience of doing it. But either way, your ability to have and accept corrective criticism is dude, it's a character trait, it's an attribute that I want you to continue to hold on to. You're a student, you're a sponge, like you said earlier. You're a learner, and you can take corrective criticism. But I think it's interesting because you coming off of your Golden Door year, you were a level of, I want to say a specific word, but I don't want to use the word I just thought of. You had a certain level of, I would say, negative pride, right? Like self-centered pride, right? Like a self-centered ego, right? Coming off of your first Golden Door. And we see that a lot. I do see that a lot, right? Obviously, I interview guys that are just one-time Golden Doors and they didn't hit it again because X, Y, Z, whatever, right? Nothing against them, but it's interesting when I see the guys that have hit year after year after year, like this coming year right now, you're going to hit your platinum Golden Door 3 years in a row. And it's interesting to see the guys that can bounce back and go through that identity check and actually go back and get after it. And sometimes it's sheer willpower. For you, there is some willpower in there. Like you just white knuckled it for a little while, and then one of the things I think that really came out was the purpose driven side of you. Because when you're out there and call it whatever, you're not getting what your expectations are not being met by what the business in general, right? In life, and you're like, dude, is this even worth it? Right? I don't even want to work. I don't even like working. Right? And you just start doubting everything. You start doubting your own beliefs, right? It's like you need to start doubting your doubts. I heard Eric Thomas say that once, man. He said, doubt your doubts. And I was like, bro, I got to doubt my doubts. Like I was at church this Sunday and it was like talking about just having faith in faith and just being a believing believer. And I used to talk about that all the time. And I was like, man, like I'm just like, people ask me like, Mikey, are you Christian? I go, I'm a believing believer, right? I'm one of those red letter Christians that's a believing believer. Because the Bible says in Mark, says these signs follow those who believe. And I'm like, I'm a believer. So anyways, I think it's interesting because the bounce back was to see what happens with Evan this year is going to be the true sign of you actually flourishing and really, really, really getting to a new level in your life and in your career, which I'm very excited about because I know that one of your I would say medium-term goals is to be a dad, and it's a training ground right now, bro. Like this is a training ground for being a husband, being a father, right? Like you're already doing great as a son, as a brother, right? You're doing great as a leader, right? But this is a training ground for that next level up, and it's just cool to see you mold into this optimum version of Evan Carver. You talked about two different paths. There's a book that actually Sam had us read called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, I think is the name. And you said there's two paths. There's a path of least resistance and the path of the worthy calling, right? The worthy opponent. And it's interesting because most people, which I want to get to this part here, they can't deal with failure enough. They weren't either taught how to deal with failure or they can't deal with failure. They can only hold on for so long. And so let's talk about the worthy calling, the worthy opponent. But I want to understand how you learned to fail and what failure means. And let's go through that because that is something that I want to know about personally.
Yeah. For me, it's like when I grew up, I wasn't really, I was pretty self-reserved. I didn't have a bunch of friends. I was pretty laid back. Like I said, I just wanted to smoke weed and play video games. I didn't have a lot of direction. And when I got into the sales industry and realized that there was a way of going to having uncapped income potential, having an endless career of growth, I don't know what it was, but my mind just clicked of I cannot be mediocre at this. And I just don't want to be. There's a lot of turnover in our industry. There's a lot of mediocrity in our industry. And my brother giving me that opportunity of, a brand new truck and a ladder and the boots and all the equipment to go be successful, I was like, okay, well, I can't stop here. And that's why, right after COVID, I withdrew from college. I drove straight to Nashville, Tennessee. And as I'm driving to Nashville, Tennessee, the 4-hour drive, I call one of Sam Taggart's sales guys and I'm like, I have to get this course. And doing that and going through the course and learning how to do sales and investing into myself, most importantly, from day one was the only reason why I quote unquote haven't failed. But like in door to door, we all know it if you've done it, especially the golden door winners. It's like you almost fail like all the time. You go out and knock a door, you get crapped on, and they say, go get a real job. I had it happen to one of my guys the other day. It was so funny that the lady said, go get a real job. And, he was very respectful, but he comes back to me. He's like, man, I just wanted to be like, Miss, let's compare, W-9s or 1099s or whatever. It's really cool to be able to have that, you know, confidence and conviction behind what you do and believing in it because you know that it's a true career. And I'm so grateful for, door to door and roofing specifically because like somebody's always going to need a new roof. There's always going to be a leaky, roof. There's going to be another bad storm. There's going to be an old roof, XYZ. I think the same way, yes, in solar, but it's a little bit more of a luxury. I did solar for 18 months, but I really connect with roofing because it's like your first layer of defense, your first line of defense. But like the failures, I don't know. I just kind of expedited the failures with going around to investing into myself. And it's like you can expedite and get around it, just go up and around you failing because you just put some skin in the game and you have option A. And that's what I did when I got into the industry was I only had one option. Option A is to succeed. Option B does not exist. If you give yourself an out in this, door-to-door industry in any really thing that you do, if you give yourself an option B, you probably won't hit option A. So I knew that investing into myself was going to instill the skill set, and then doing, $10,000, $20,000 a year in coaches, going to these events. It's just what has to happen. And it's crazy because I was not that type of person growing up, but it just, that flip got switched into me of I have to be successful. Option A, leave everything on the line on the field, and there is no way I'm going to give myself an option B.
I love that. There's a lot to unpack there. So there was obviously at some point in your from 19 to now 23, there was at one point a mountaintop experience that you saw someone that was successful in roofing and you got into it. There probably was more mountaintop experiences by going to events, by having, whatever, coaching, all that kind of stuff too. But like, who did you see that was successful? Like, was there, like, how did you know that if you went out and knocked doors and did roofing that you could reach not being mediocre and reach success where I'd love to dive in a little bit about like just spitballing, brain dumping about like what success is to Evan. But who did you see? Was it somebody specifically? Do you remember that time? Do you remember who it was? Was it you at, like, for instance, at an event and you were like, that dude hit golden door, I can hit golden door? Was it what was it?
Well, the summer of 2019 where I was taking like my gap semester just to go do whatever I wanted to do before I was going to go to college. That's when my brother had his best year ever, and built those 20, 30 projects in the most prestigious neighborhood in Northeast Georgia. And I was just like, whoa, seeing my brother be so successful at the time he was 21, 22. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, I know I can do it if I did, put my mind to it. We were texting all the time. He's like, hey, little bro, once you get back in town, like, I got you, like, we're going to do this. And, just having that person in my corner, my built-in best friend, believing in me, was all I needed to know that I cannot let him down. Can't let, that selflessness and what he did down. So that's why I invested in myself so quickly. And learn from these goats in the industry, like the Sam Taggarts of the world, like you, like the Michael O'Donnells, like the Taylor McCarthy's, these people that have done, commas and commas, zeros and zeros and zeros, and have exited businesses. And like, I've been in so many rooms where I'm the smallest fish, and like, that's where I want to be. Last year I went on a cruise with Sam Taggart and Michael O'Donnell on one of the bucket list trips that they had, and it was the quote on the idea behind the mastermind, and what the name of it was called, the 9-figure mastermind. It's how to build a 9-figure business and career. And I'm over here looking at like my net worth, and it's like $100,000, and I'm like, okay, but I like this. I like being in these situations. And I operate in like typically simple belief systems that just like frees up my mind of thinking. And that belief system of being a 9-figure entrepreneur, and it being possible and people doing it right in front of my eyes, completely shatters my belief systems and allows me to raise the bar in my belief systems and in my life. And like I said, I don't really know. There's no secret sauce to it. It's just I wanted to invest into myself and be successful.
Love that. Yeah, it's funny how, there's that quote that I have like this list of cool quotes in my notes. And one of them is, show me your 5 best friends, or the 5 people you hang around with most, and I'll show you where you'll be at in 5 years. So where did you learn that? Like, where did you learn that you needed to be in other rooms? What was that? Why was proximity something that you were like, hey, I need to be? Is it because you didn't have that growing up and you saw you needed to be in rooms? You said, I want to be the smallest fish in the room. Where did that come from? Why is that?
I think it just stemmed from like me wanting to be so successful so quickly, and just asking questions, like if you or paying as well, putting the skin in the game and learning from those people. There's 2 sides of it. You can get free knowledge from people if you simply just ask, hey, Mikey, I saw you have exited your solar business. Like, how'd you do it? Like, some people forget how simple it is to ask a question and get a fucking answer from somebody.
True.
And then on top of it, paying for them to go layers deeper and like, hey, this is exactly how I sold my business. And this is how I'm going to, level up my next layer of career in your oil and gas, that you're doing investments. And I try not to overcomplicate it. And that's why I've always been like, one of the belief systems that I have is like, there's no such thing as a bad question. Like, the only bad question per se is the one you don't ask. So when I first got started, I called my brother 20 times a day. Hey, yo, like, someone said this, what would you say? They said not interested. They said that they don't want to call the insurance, whatever. And I just hounded him. And I'm still asking questions every day. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, sometimes I'll go knock on doors. I'm 5 years into this. It's so funny. I love messing with people on the doors. Like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, if it gets to like the end of the conversation and it's going really downhill, like, I'm really sorry. Like, this is like my first week. What could I have said better? Like, to get you to book the inspection. And then they just kind of look at me like I'm retarded. And I love that because it helped so much when I first got started. And on top of it, just playing like the new card, and when you ask a type of open-ended question, typically you get the answer that like solves the problem in the question. They're like, oh, like, I just really don't have time. Oh, okay. Since the timing's off, does next, Tuesday at 2:00 work or 4:00 work better? And then you book them.
Let's go.
Or tomorrow. Okay. Since tonight's bad at 5:00, are you a morning person? Awesome. I'll come back tomorrow at 10. What's your phone number?
Love that. So you're keeping it. You've been able to keep it simple, which is, I think, is super important in your entrepreneur journey, is being able to keep it simple, right? And some of those simple ingredients, right? That foundation, as we say in energy, right? Your base load energy, right? For that base load of your philosophy, as you were saying, as your value systems, is one of those is going to be, hey, I need to invest in myself. I need to stay as a learner. I need to be a sponge. I need to ask questions, right? And because, the person that doesn't have the answers is usually not asking the question, or is not asking the question correctly.
Yeah. Like, I have a list of belief systems, and if you're listening to this, I highly recommend, writing these down and maybe coming back through, and rewriting them down and operating some of these. The only reason why I'm so successful is because my first year when I got started, we had 6 guys deep in a 2-bedroom apartment with bunk beds and a couch. And the belief system that I immediately instilled, my rookie year was, I'm going to be the first one out of this door, out of the apartment door, and I will be the last one here every single day. You will catch me dead here at this apartment with you stinky guys. There's no way I'm going to be the first one out, last one in every single day. I got to build an hour away. I'm leaving at 5 a.m. and I'm not back until 11 o'clock. And it's like that stat sheet I would track of, I will beat you out the door and I will beat you back in because there's nothing to do here. The money is outside. And then, input is output. Documentation beats conversation. As sales professionals, we get paid off of the value we provide, nothing else. I don't convince homeowners to do anything. I provide them a new solution to their problems. Everybody needs a coach and a mentor. What else is there to do? Go to work. You've got 2 paths, the one of least resistance and the one you need to go down. Or what was it on the obstacles away? What is the second path? I haven't read that book, so I don't know the exact path.
So it's from Tony Robbins, but it's the worthy opponent or the calling.
Yeah. So
the worthy calling or the worthy opponent.
Yeah. The path of least resistance or the worthy calling, where you can step into your highest, form of self. It's not what you get, it's who you become.
Good, Jim Rohn.
Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice creates permanence. Garbage in equals garbage out.
Let's go.
Positive in equals positive out. 1% better every day. I win some and I learn some. I don't ever lose.
Let's go.
Those are just some of the ones I wrote down. I've got more, but these are just kind of spitballing. I created this before the podcast just because I wanted to give some simple beliefs. That's the only reason why I'm successful. I feel like it's just I don't overcomplicate it. It can get very overwhelming and complicated, I feel like, in this industry. And it's like you have these big goals. You've got these people that are Golden Door winners or whatever. And it can seem like it's so out of reach, but it's not. Especially if you couple that with reverse engineering it. For me, I reverse engineered my last 2 years of all I have to do is sell 100 roofs at $25,000 a pop, and I'm a Golden Door winner. And I just backtrack and reverse engineer it. I'm looking at my pipeline right now and it's like I've only had 2 jobs on the year, but it's also like I know I can sell 98 jobs in 11 months or 10 months because I just have to fill in the blank and copy and paste. Same thing if you're in pest control or, solar, just find your numbers, reverse engineer it, don't overcomplicate it. And if you need to install 2 a week, install 2 a week. If you need to install 10 a week, install 10 a week. Like it's just go put in the work and make it happen.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a do it. It sounds like it's a like do it at all costs. Do it even if the odds are against you. Do like a can-do attitude and a whatever it takes mindset. And I've seen that throughout successful people. They have this weird, like almost like autistic version of self-belief that the outcome can actually be achieved. And I think that's a huge attribute that you have, and that I see in a lot of very successful people, not just in door-to-door sales, but in energy and other businesses, things like that. That they just have this very weird, like they can actually do it, and you're like,
we're crazy, we're psycho. You kind of have to be psycho.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. It's only weird if you make it weird.
Well, that's the problem. Is like Western culture, our society, right, has labeled us, our generation, right, 20 and 30-year-olds to like, why don't you just take the safe route? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the safe route by any means. For me, it's like, hey, dude, can you be grateful and enjoy life at your day job, right? Or do you wake up and are you just hating your life every single day? And I'm not saying that, people need to love what they do. I talked against that actually in my book, but I think it's the love what you do trap. It's like, no, it's love who you're becoming. Love what you're becoming inside of this. And if you're becoming more limited, more cynical, more angry, more anxious, more depressed, like something needs to change. Otherwise, like what does all of those ingredients add up to in your marriage, in your life, in your business, with your relationships, with your friends, right? In your spirituality, dude, it's not. It's one of my buddies told me one time, Eli. He said, "It's harder than you think it is, but it's easier than you think it is." And I'm like, that is so like, it was just like, it was off the cuff. And I was like, holy crap. And I wrote it down and I was like, wow, dude, like it's actually on my board now too. Because I do what you just did. I was going to ask you, I was like, how long did you have those written down for? But you said right before the podcast. So it'll be interesting because what I want you to do, what I implore you to do is to review those either on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis and read through those. Yeah. Have Siri read those to you in the morning so that you embody those attributes. Right. So it's like,
no, I love that.
I was just, it was so funny, dude. I took my wife to work this morning. I got back and I was like, man, like where focus goes, energy flows. And I was like, I remember when I was like 21, 22 years old, 18 years old, 18 to like 22 years old. And like pretty much if you looked at my YouTube, it was drifting cars. And that's all I thought about. Like that definitely controlled what I thought about, what I was searching on the internet. I was always looking for, another 240SX or, dream building and, dreaming, looking at, GTRs and R34s, R35s. Eventually, obviously I bought one. Best experience of my entire life was buying my dream car, right? Actually achieving something. But I was the crazy one that went out and bought, not one, but $200,000, six-figure vehicles that were, that's kind of crazy, especially in my family. You're like, yo, slow down there, buddy. But society, our parents, our culture says to take it easy. And, the people that I see, and if you're listening to this and you're like, hey man, how do I actually break out of this? It is just belief in yourself and belief that the outcome can actually happen. Then, okay, that is the start. That is the foundation. Belief that it can first happen. Then from there, okay, what is the end goal? Reverse engineering, just like Evan just said. And then saying, okay, it can happen. This is the path on how to get there. And then it's just tracking it. And then again, growing up in personal development, having people around you that are not going to yes man you. And, it's like, I didn't set the goal to, have five figures, or $5,000 a month for your mom every single month for you. I didn't set that for you, but I'm going to hold your ass accountable to it. Mm-hmm. And it's cool. Yeah, it's cool to have that.
I like the way you said that, society wants us to take the safe route, the easy path, play the long game, work the corporate job for a couple, 3, 4, 5, 6 decades and, you'll be able to retire. But if you couple that, like take a step back, let's say you are that person that's going through, a nursing career or some sort of corporate ladder, and you want something, different in your life, but you're scared of that transition and what it looks like. One of the belief systems I had, like I said, is, option A is to succeed. There is no option B. It's like use that same belief system of I'm not going to work this safe career job, whatever. I'm just going to give myself a new option to do sales, do something high ticket that's going to really move the needle in your life, and just have one option, just succeed.
What's funny, dude? I was just thinking about that. Like, if you were a nurse or a firefighter, or maybe not a police officer, but a nurse or a firefighter, that would be the perfect job to have and then go on your not working days, right? Like, my wife's a nurse. She makes 6 figures a year. She kills it. And, she doesn't work 4 days out of the week. And, like, so if you had that and you had that dog in you, you had that, like, that hunger, that drive, like, having a job while doing, quote unquote, door-to-door or sales part-time is a huge leg up. Like, I had to work 2 jobs when I started my door-to-door career. I mean, obviously I went out and did summer sales, but when I moved back, I went and got back into the restaurants and, was doing restaurants as well as solar at the exact same time and not doing part-time. I was doing full-time on both. And it was a worthy opponent. And I'm definitely glad that I did that and didn't back out, because I could have just said, screw it, I'll take the safe job. I was working at a restaurant, fine dining restaurant that was paying $17, $18 an hour back then, and was getting 150, 200 bucks a night in tips. Like, that was great money for me at that time. Like, dude, that was like everything I needed. I could buy I had a race car. I had two different Nissan 240 SXs in my career, and I could spend money on them and stuff like that. But I knew that there was I always knew something, and this is something that I can see in you, and I've seen a lot of other Golden Door guys and girls or ladies, is they have that like innate hunger in them for more. And it's like, what can I accomplish? What can I do? And I think the hard part for men, not for the ladies, but for the men, is being able to reflect. Like, if you can't reflect on the input, like you said, the input is your output. If you can't reflect on the input, like, you end up going like stir crazy, right? You think like something's supposed to be different. It's almost like the definition of insanity. They put in the same same exact effort, expecting a different result. But it's those ones that are willing to get on the scale and be uncomfortable with it, which just goes back to the ability to learn how to fail and learn how to fail well. And then learn and turn those failures into learning lessons, like you've done. And I see that over and over and over again within this podcast, just interviewing these amazing individuals that are just solid people that especially the ones that can hit it multiple years in a row like yourself. It's so interesting the similarities that I see, because I get asked that on when I'm interviewed on podcasts too. Like, you have this show, you interview all these top people. Like, what's the similarities? What do you see? And you've got like every checkbox, which is awesome.
Heck yeah. No, I appreciate it. I hope I'm able to provide it in a different way than the prior people you've had on the show, because I know it's somewhat similar, kind of what we all do. But like, I'm just super simple. But also just like, you've helped me a lot. Just creating new belief systems and clarity and alignment, and really stretching me, because when I got my first Golden Door, that's when I hired you to be my coach in early of last year, before my second Golden Door. But I feel like if I didn't do that and invest that money and show up to the calls and ask you the right questions and be a student, I really feel like I wouldn't have hit, my second Golden Door. And, I feel like we get tested a lot, in life, career, whatever it is. And like, you've got to show up, and, swing the bat, try to get on base. You don't have to hit home runs every time, but you've got to show up, rinse, do every single day. And I'm just really proud of myself for, seeing where I'm like not very good at some things, and just wanting to get better. Like, I just want to be better than I am yesterday and continually doing that. And that's why I feel like I'll be around in this industry for another 5 years, and then decades to come. And it, may not be this quite, industry, but the industry of entrepreneurship, at least. And I always feel like I'll be an entrepreneur because I know just how to ask questions and want to get better, and leverage other people's knowledge.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's rent is due every single day. I love that. That's important. So let's talk about some of your we've got through your mindset, we've got through some of your methods. I can see the formula. The formula, you keep it simple. What are some of the habits in your personal life that you do to help you, we can just say, buy back your time? Like, what are some of those things that you do on a daily basis or weekly basis that are consistent in your life? What's consistent in your life?
I'll be real. I'm really working on that this year. I've had, vices in the years past, that just weren't serving me. And, I feel like it's 2025. It is I feel like this is the year of exponential growth, like quantum leaps and bounds, the year of authenticity. And, I feel like if I don't drop some of the, quote unquote bad things, and just things that aren't really moving the needle for me, I'm going to get like left in the dust, like completely lapped. And on top of it, I've got 20 people to, lead just in my direct market. Um, and if I don't show up every single day and, you know, listen to the podcast, that's a big one. Like, I think that's really helped just habit wise, is listening to podcasts and audiobooks. I just try to feed my brain with positive things and learning new skills. You say, turn your car into a classroom. And, sorry, I know it's fun, but no music today. You got to get better. Just little things, going to the gym. I think we all know that. Um, being just appreciative and grateful for the people in your life and the things you have, and like giving your loved one calls and just trying to be selfless. Like, it's a week before Valentine's Day right now, and I just ordered same day really nice boutique of flowers to my mom's school, because she's a teacher. And um, just showing love. I feel like people see that whether they are in the classroom or not, but like, my reps will see that, and they'll be like, damn, like I didn't give my mom flowers, or I didn't give my significant lover, other flowers. And just like caring about people, texting them, calling them, asking them how their day was, and be like, okay, you gave me like a base level answer. Like, how was your day actually? Like, are you good? You seem a little off. Um, I think that's what separates me from a lot of people just in the industry, is like I give a damn about people. And I've you know like I learned it from my brother and my mother. They were so selfless. And I want to be able to provide that same type of value for people, because it's kind of a lost art. Art is just like, being a nice person.
Being a good human, dude. I've got that
Yeah.
hat. It's right there. Be a good human.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Sometimes when I wear it, I wore it about 2 weeks ago. We went to this like marriage retreat with the church group that I'm involved in, and I wore that hat. And we were walking through Academy. We were getting some ammunition to go, do some shooting out there. And
Fun.
people were like looking at me kind of weird. And I'm like, what the hell are these people looking at? They're like smiling at me. I was like, what? I was like, oh, that's right. I'm wearing my Be a Good Human hat. But like me, I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm smiling all the time anyway, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm changing my physiology. Like if I'm not feeling good, I am smiling, right? You are not going to know that I'm not feeling good. Why? Because I'm training my body. I'm leading my body, and smiling helps a lot, at least with me. So smiling is is definitely a go-to thing for me. So body language, things like that. But good, man. So this has been a dude. I mean, I've got a couple more questions for you, but I want to respect your time, so I'll try to start to land the plane here. Um, Tell me about, like, I guess, how would you let me start here first. How would you define the American dream?
Mm. How would I define the American dream? The American dream, I think it's the land of opportunity. And like, you know, I'm not like super political, but I do respect at least Trump and what he's trying to do with kind of restoring the American like pride. I feel like a lot of us are not very prideful of the red, white, and blue and the stars and the stripes. Um, and I listened a little bit um, of the inauguration speech, and like one of the biggest uh, the thing I connected with the most was the preacher, the black preacher guy, and he was like, this is the land of the free. And what he said, he screamed it, he yelled it so loud, is let freedom ring. And this is where you can go to be free and have opportunity. And what a blessing that is. And do not let that, you know, like, not let it down, but like don't let that slip. Like you can literally do simply anything you want to in America if you just put your mind to it and organize the steps and your playbooks and your operations and the hard work. And it's wonderful to see more connection and less division. At least that's what I'm seeing of, hey, let's just like love our neighbor. Let's, take care of people, and, whether they're blue, red, black, green, yellow, white, whatever. I really like just it being the land of the opportunity and freedom. That's the dream.
Love that. I wrote down, love your neighbor. And what it made me think of was like, love your neighbor, treat others how you want to be treated. And I think that goes just such a long way, man. Like the ability to live grateful in a crappy situation is the true test of a man, I think, is their ability to be calm when, they're in the middle of a storm. Take it from Jesus as he was sleeping on a boat when, his boys were on a boat and they were sailing somewhere and it was a mess. They thought they were going to die. And he said, "Oh, ye of little faith." Like, fools, did you think that I was going to let you die in the middle of this water? I got work to do, boys. We're going. But having the ability to stay, I guess you can say centered, not even like in control, but just centered, because obviously in the middle of a storm, you really don't have much control, but being able to stay centered is a missing attribute, and it's a skill that you can obtain. It's not one of those where it's caught, not taught, but you also have to understand that your ability to stay locked down and stay centered in the turmoil is a determining factor of whether or not you're gonna win or not. Especially because this year you're gonna run into certain situations that are going to try to uproot you from hitting your platinum. Which, dude, if there's anything that's gonna happen this year, if there's anything that's happened, it's gonna happen this year where it's gonna try to uproot you. So that is a worthy opponent that I'm excited to see and be with you on that journey.
Very true. But I'm here for it.
Let's go.
I'm ready for it.
What if you had any words for other Golden Door Award winners, what would it be?
The bar's set. You got to do it. Clock, resets at 0, each year and each day. And if you're not on track, have a Golden Door day. Have a Golden Door week. Have a Golden Door hour. Have a Golden Door month. Don't try to just, see the light at the end of the tunnel and be like, damn, it's too far. You actually gave me that belief system of having a Golden Door day, having a Golden Door week. And a couple of my guys that, they've kind of set their bar in their mind of this year, I just want to sell like 1.5 million. But this past 2 weeks, I've seen them have multiple Golden Door days. And I'm like, y'all, let's you have your goals, but like I said, I don't want to be the only one on stage this year. And if it's not someone else, it can damn sure be you. Because you just had these multiple Golden Door days. You had a Golden Door week. It's January. Like, we got time on our side. That's what I would say is just, break it down to smaller, bite-sized pieces. And on top of it, make sure you're still reverse engineering where you're at, whenever this podcast airs or wherever you're just at in your year.
I love
that.
Kind
of audit it.
No, it's great, man. Yeah, if you can't measure things you're not tracking, and how do you grow something you're not tracking?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not measuring, rather. So it's the year of the scoreboard was last year. And that doesn't mean that this is not still the year of the scoreboard. It's we're adding and stacking things on. So last year is the year of the scoreboard, and that's this year is a year of exponential growth. So it's
definitely
an execution. So that is super exciting to see again where you're at, and I'm looking forward to being a part of your office more as well. And brother, like, you can use me as much as you want within your office. I mean, I think we had a call with them a week or two ago, and there was just a level of breakthrough. I could feel it literally through the camera screen that there were some breakthroughs that were happening in that room throughout all of your offices. We even had one of your homeowners on that call, but there was some breakthrough that was happening in that office that
I think he got the biggest and best breakthrough, Mr. John.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. I was like, let's go, Evan. You're having homeowners on these calls. I love that. You're always trying to add value. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good, man. So let's let me maybe try to end here if I can. You said something about respecting your craft, respecting your career. Can you kind of just walk me through that? Like you've been told to go get a real job. Your team members have been told to get a real job. What does this craft mean to you? What is this career?
I take a lot of pride in not only what I do, but the door-to-door industry. Crazy enough, this is an example. Last week, I was knocking on doors in this cul-de-sac in the neighborhood, and these kids were like riding bikes and playing around. They're like, "Hey, don't knock on that door." The last time a door-to-door salesman knocked on that door, the homeowner actually pulled a gun on the pest control guy, and everything told me to not knock on the door, but I actually went and knocked on the door, and I was like, "Hey,
Yep.
I know this is going to be crazy awkward, but I'm not even going to try to talk to you about what I'm actually peddling, selling, whatever. I just wanted to talk to you about the door-to-door industry and how uncool it was for you to pull a gun on that kid. He was doing his job. I get it. He was pushy, whatever. I did it in a very respectful manner, but I was like, I want you to know that this industry changed my life 5 years ago by doing it. And I've knocked on doors for over 10,000 plus hours. And this is a real career and a real job. And that is completely uncool. I could have never met you before. I might be completely stepping out of line, but don't do that to somebody that's just trying to change their lives. And, that person may have quit that day or that week or whatever. And, I put my foot down. I was like, just for door to door itself, it's like I'm prideful for it because I know how much impact it can have on human development, and I really feel like we need that. Is just people getting better and having a true career path through direct door to door sales is something that I've embodied, and I'm being able to provide that path for other people. And, I just give a damn about it. And because I would not be where I'm at unless I just got the opportunity from my big brother. What a cool industry it is. It's just nothing but focused around personal development and growth and getting better. And it's like, damn, I want to be in that industry for years and years and decades to come because I just want to get better.
I love that you see the positive in the space, because obviously there's a lot of people that have had negative experiences. You yourself have had negative experiences. And I love the fact that you're not harping on those and living in the past, number one, or as a victim, number two. And I think that is, again, another attribute that you have that is unlike a lot of people, right? Like people just were like, this is like the year of the victim, I think is what it is. Like last year was the year of the victim, and I think it's rolling over here. It's like we're probably going to have the year of the victim in this year, and it's so like it sucks. Like I feel empathy, not sympathy, but I feel empathy for people that like they play the victim. Like they could have, they could have had, obviously, I mean, there's obvious situations where people have actually been, betrayed and things like that, or whatever, right? And whatever level of it you want it to be, but we tend to over sensationalize the victim side and not realize that you're the victor. But having the ability to stay centered like you have, is what leads to, again, a third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh year of Golden Doors, of just being an exceptional individual, an exceptional business partner, an exceptional person, an exceptional husband eventually, an exceptional father eventually, an exceptional brother, an exceptional son. And exceptional is what Evan Carver is, and that's what you embody on a daily basis. And I love that about you. I've wrote down almost 3 pages of notes here because I've got some studying to do here, because there's some things that you said that I want to know more about on my side, and it's just cool. I love it. I love that you said you quoted Ed Milet. That's one of my heroes, man. I love Ed. You said that success is caught, not taught. Or you said something, right? Is caught, not taught. Maybe you said success. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
I love Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie
him,
Spaghetti.
Jesse, yeah, Ed Milet, Jesse Itzler. Those are like my 1-2 punch of, virtual mentors, and I'd love to be able to work my way up to, you know, rub shoulders with them and do what I've done of, making some of these mentors and idols in the industry my friends and my acquaintances and people I can call and ask questions. And it's really cool to just see the growth through door-to-door sales. So um, I'm forever grateful for this industry, and I think it's in a good spot and it's going in the right direction. As long as there's people that spearhead the good and don't try to look for the bad, because you can always find bad in things. So if people have had bad experiences, they're still listening, to the end of this, podcast. Just try to find what the good it's done in your life and focus on that more. And you'll probably wake up, today, the next day and be like, hey, I'm going to go out and service the community, help some homeowners, put them in a better situation. And oh, wait, I get a $5,000 paycheck because of that job. Like, wham, wham, wham.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's a pretty cool vehicle. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. There's two things I want to end on here. Number one is I want you to. This is not, you don't have to, but I think that you should rearrange your Golden Door awards behind you in more of a year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. Because right now it looks like you're just gonna put the other one on top. I think that you should move them in like almost as an order,
horizontal.
As if you're that way you're almost as you're looking at it, you're like, gotta go hang that one up. Can't wait for that.
Yeah. It fit good in this corner, but I just got into my office space here, and I can get it on this wall on the opposite side and make it more kind of chronological and put a little ... next to each one, and then I can hang the, next one on the ... or the, timer or the question mark or whatever, and make it more gamified. That's a really good idea.
You could, or I mean, again, if you keep it back there, because you can keep it obviously in your backdrop, you can just set them side by side, and then I don't know. I was just thinking that I was like, Evan should have like a printed out version of 2025, 2026, 2027.
Yeah.
And just I think that accomplishment of you doing that would be that moment you will imprint, you will stain on your soul forever of being able to take that paper off and hang the actual award itself.
Yeah, that'll be a better feeling than being actually on the stage, because it's like I completed the loop, because I've listened to a couple of the podcasts, and most of the answers that you get from the Golden Door winners is like, yeah, cool, you get the award on stage, but you're on there for 2 minutes and then you're back in the crowd. It's like, I got work to do. But yes, you got to be appreciative of it, because it's an incredibly hard task, and it's crazy to think that this is the 1%. And like even my brother texted me the other day, thank you for raising the bar. And it's like, it's wild for me to be able to get that recognition from my big bro, because like he set the bar so high for me, and now I'm just like, now I get to create new standards and raise that bar. It's really cool to see it continually growing and developing.
Love that. So, Evan, where can we find you on the internet?
Pretty easy. Instagram's the most, the place I'm the most active, just Evan_Carver. Facebook. I'm trying to get my LinkedIn going a little bit more business profession now, because I am a professional, and I need to be more keen on that. Hit me up. I've got more guys in my DMs, unfortunately, the girls, asking me questions on how to be a Golden Door winner. So I'm cool to answer some more. I love it, though.
I love that. Well, brother, thank you. Obviously, we'll put all the links to your social media in the show notes. So if you guys want to go follow Evan, you should do that. He posts a lot of really great content. I love that you're growing your social media, your reach, and really ultimately what you're doing is you're just documenting what you're doing. I love it. You're not like teaching sales. You're just saying, hey, I'm out here. And it's cool to have when I connect other Golden Door Award winners and other top performers together. It's almost like that. I have this Whoop now, and was kind of against Whoop for a long time, but really, really wanted it secretly. My wife got it for me for Christmas. And I'm in a Whoop group with a bunch of guys that are top performers, and it's really shitty to be like, I'm number 4 out of 5 on like
Yeah.
strain this week, and I'm like, dude, I gotta finish this week off strong. I gotta go hit. Or my recovery is low, and I'm like, dude, I gotta compete, and it's just cool to have that level of competition. But dude, awesome, man. Yeah, we'll end that there. I think that was awesome, dude. I would love to. Oh my gosh, dude, there's just so much. I'm like mind blown. I really love what you're doing, and I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing you hit that 7th and joining the good old GOAT Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, behind me is Mike, so I got to get to 6 first, and then that'd be incredible. What a testament that would be to stapling yourself, because at that point that would be year 10 in the industry, a full decade in the industry to have 7 golden doors. That would be awesome, and I'm all for it. I got work to do, and I'm gonna show up.
Love it. All right, Evan. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. God bless. Good luck this year, and get after it.
Yep, likewise. God bless you,
Thanks,
Mikey.
man.
I appreciate you.
Gotcha, brother.
Take care.